Hi everyone, thanks for joining. This is Nimisha. I'm Senior Director of Product Marketing at Proshort. I'm super excited to bring this session to you today. We have Gaurav Mishra, CEO of Proshort, and Katie Chatterton, CRO of Pointcare. They're going to talk about agentic AI for sales, adaptation, and empowerment. Without further ado, let's get on with Katie and Gaurav.
Thank you, Nimisha. Thanks for setting that up. I'm super excited to have Katie Chatterton with me. She's the CRO of Pointcare and one of our uh, really strong supporters and customers. And before I start off, I really wanted to ask you, Katie, what is the journey as a CRO been for you? Yeah. What are the challenges you're facing? What is it that you like about the job? What are the sort of really extreme challenges that you face? So, yeah, could you really start by hearing about that? Yeah, I really appreciate you asking. The journey I know as this particular brand of sales leader has been one of the more lonely places. It's really hard to make people happy in all directions, and so coming from a sales enablement background, our sales team is your customer. Now I'm working on the side where customers are the customer, and my sales team are still the customer. So it's been really easy to transition because of my background in sales enablement. And I will give ProShort a lot of credit for that transition as well because of the way it trained me to look at deals, look at metrics, look at coaching, and the way it has really supported my leadership in terms of enabling reps to do a lot of that work on their own as well. Yeah, I mean, you've had an incredible journey. I mean, I think you're one of the few leaders that went from sales enablement to leading all of sales. So, congratulations on that. Happy to play a small part in that. Now, I really wanted to kick things off by asking you at Point Care, how are you using ProShort? Like, what are the aspects of our solution that appeal to you and how that plugs into your day to day activity and overcoming the challenges you're facing? Awesome. Well, I think if you asked me this question every 2 weeks, I might have a different answer for you every 2 weeks. The reason we began to use ProShort here at Pointcare was to address the sales challenge that we didn't really know what was going on in the sales cycle. We had call intelligence and call recorders, and we could look back on different aspects of the transcripts and what was actually happening, but we had no AI overlay to be able to actually understand the sentiment of the call, the value of the relationship, the ability for asking what's happening in this deal, following up with emails that are thoughtful, that capture all of the next steps. And so ProShort, I think, as a foundation, has a lot of these features already built in. And the biggest challenge I think we've been able to overcome has been really gaining an understanding of what the salespeople are selling into, how their customers are feeling, how they're talking about things. And then, my favorite feature from the very beginning has been the sort of ask me anything search bar, right? And so it's not just across deals or calls, but it's across the whole portfolio in terms of like, what is happening in this call? When did this happen? I just used the feature the other day because I actually invited the CEO to a call and I forgot why. And so I clicked in and said, why did I invite him to this call? And ProShort reminded me, you wanted him to touch on these 3 points, and also he's an expert in this that the customer was interested in. So yeah, I mean, that was one of the features and differentiators that we started with. I mean, it's interesting that the journey for us has morphed where we realize that, like, while we have this, like, what I call a ubiquitous capability to answer anything, we want to empower, the enablement teams and the RevOps teams so that they can look for insights in real time and get notified. I mean, that's sort of like the trigger point from where we started investing in building out our agents. And I know, like, you guys are now playing around with our the new AI agents that we've shipped recently. So talk me a little bit through, like, what kind of coaching and deal agents you're finding value. Sure. And how are you thinking about the future in terms of using ProShort to enhance even more gains for yourself?
Yeah, you nailed it. My initial interest in this product, and I remember telling you early on, this is not an enablement product. This is a product marketing product. You need to sell to product marketers because of the just vast amounts of data and the way you are able to search for those insights. And so, in my position, I don't have sales enablement support. I don't have RevOps support. We're a very small company. We're serving a huge market in healthcare, and I need all the help I can get from tools or from agents, right? And so the way we're using agents now is by looking deal by deal and understanding what's happening in this deal. What are the points where this deal might stall out? Uh, are we on track with next steps? Have we effectively captured the challenge point of this customer, and have we effectively answered it, right? And so we have agents that are able not only to coach us as leaders and, at that C level, looking down into the funnel and what are the sales reps doing, but the sales reps themselves can go in and use those same agents to understand their deal, what they can do better, when they can change things. So that's the today. As we look forward, one of the requests is, how can our product team use this to continue developing? When the user experience is mentioned, we have agents that can pick up on those challenges and deliver that information straight to our product team, so they don't have to wait on me to get around to it or to summarize anything. And then the notes capture is just pristine. Every time I go in and look at the highlights, the bullet points, it's perfect, and it really captures things even better than I could most of the time.
Yeah, and one of the things, like, with some of the customers like yourself, what we've realized is that because of the high quality of, like, notes and the summarization that we do from any of the sales call, some of those fields have to be written back into the CRM so that there's no disruption to their sort of, like, other reports and other tools that they have built on the CRM, right? So, have you guys tried that out in terms of writing back critical information into your CRM, and how's your experience been with respect to that?
That's an interesting question. I think that that's something that we're still working on developing. We just got through about a 6-month process of redesigning our entire sales process as it is. And so with that rebuild of Salesforce, one of the things that we're asking sellers to do is to capture the methodology we use, which is spiced, and understanding the situation, the pain and the impact and everything else. And so Proshort had Medic built in. I asked for Spice to be built in. It was a matter of weeks when they came back with this feature request, and we've now added that into our instance, and we're able to see the deals from the methodology that we use. And the next step will be writing that back to the CRM so that we can, free our reps from the dreaded copy and paste between systems.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that, like, the flexibility to choose Medic, Spice, Band. I mean, that's something that we offer out of the box now. And of course, like, if you have those fields in your CRM, you can write it back. And yeah, I mean, that's we found that to be, like, it's a simple thing in some ways, but it's huge value add, like, in a sales organization. Yeah, and now, like, looking ahead, right? I mean, which is always, as an entrepreneur, as you're building things, it's not just about what we are doing today, but what we do tomorrow. One of the things that we are thinking about, and we've actually discussed this with you, is rolling out role plays where you can have an actual conversation with an AI agent and discuss either, like, a debrief with a meeting that has happened where you underperformed at certain skills, or prep for a meeting in a very contextual way. Just wanted to hear your thoughts in terms of, what do you think about that? Like, I mean, how will that change your sales output, and, like, what kind of impact do you see with this whole contextual empowerment, in which, like, role play will play a very, very, very key role there?
We've touched on it a few times already, but I do know that ProShort is very committed to making the sales rep experience better. So I've talked about, what it means to leadership, what it means to RevOps, enablement, the C-level, as we're looking for various insights, product team, marketing team. And by the way, all of those roles are represented in our ProShort. It's not just a sales tool. This is a company-wide database of how we can know our customers best. from the prospecting and initial discovery calls all the way through account management, customer success, and understanding, again, how the product works. But that focus on making the product the best for the reps and being able to use role play is where I think there's a lot of potential, right? Reps tend to be hesitant to engage in new software or to spend too much time doing admin duties like the dreaded copy and paste, which they will tell you that writing back to the Salesforce fields is the best feature for Proshort, but we know there's much more. So I think once they get a taste of how the role plays work for those debriefs, you're putting a lot of coaching and, like you said, empowerment into the hands of the sales reps so that they can really take hold of their own career, their own success. And, that group of C and B players, if they have the desire, then they now have the ability or the empowerment to become an A player and an A level seller as well.
Yeah. I mean, so thanks so much for kind of talking about that, because I mean, the way kind of we visualize is that, like, a sales org has like a lot of challenges, and one of the primary challenges is always about how do you get like the top rep behavior transported into your entire org.
Yes.
And this is something that we've paid a lot of attention to in terms of what are the different techniques where we can bring that learning of what is helping some reps win, and making the others win as well, right? So a lot of the contextuality comes from that, extracting short snippets of good behavior, making them easy to consume, and so like one question I had is, moving forward, as you see AI in sales, right? Of course, we're doing a lot, but um, do you see the impact of AI in sales orgs more as helping one guy win a lot, or helping the same guy address a lot more accounts? So there are two different things here.
Yeah.
One is impacting the win rate, which we do, but it's also about the raw number of wins that you can get out of one particular sales. So I mean, how do you see that kind of play out in your organization?
So the classic kind of argument that's been on the table for the last couple years is, AI will replace us all, and for sales reps and SDRs especially, we're going to be replaced by AI. And there's some thought leaders out there who have come back to say, hey, AI can create, but it's us who will curate the ideals. And those who are committed to using AI, I think will replace those who aren't, right? And so it's not that reps will be replaced by AI, but absolutely I think they will be replaced by reps who are using it, because the answer to your question is both, right? It is going to help all of the sales reps win more often, and expand their books of business so that they can win more efficiently. And correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the AI expert here, but one of the core tenets is efficiency of AI, right? And so if we can build in efficiency and make reps more efficient and make revenue teams more productive, that is what we're looking for. A reduced time to sale, right? Reduced time to close one, an increase in the value, an increase in how many opportunities get to the next step. And Proshort, I am finding, guides us through every one of those steps.
Yeah. And I mean, I also want to bring up one of the sort of understated aspects of the industry, which is the importance of the sales manager themselves, right? And in Proshort, as we've built the platform, one thing that we've focused on is how can I empower. I mean, of course, we want to empower the rep, we want to empower the CROs, but we also want to empower the sales manager, right? So that they can run a much more efficient one-on-one with their reps. I just wanted to poke you a little bit on that aspect and see, have you seen any impact with your sales managers and heard anything from them as they've adopted AI? Have they become much more efficient?
I mean, our sales managers are me for all intents and purposes, but I do talk to a lot of managers in the field, and having come from enablement, I think that your first line, and having come from sales enablement, I think that your first line and second line managers are often the most overlooked, right? Because we're watching the metrics on reps, on BDRs, SDRs, AEs, CSMs, and we're watching all of these activities and successes and conversion ratios. But who's watching that? It's the sales managers, right? It's really easy to coach those elements, but who's coaching the coaches, right? Who's coaching those sales managers? So I think that's what you're digging into, and I actually have made a career out of coaching the coaches in all kinds of industries, right? Empowering these frontline folks to do a better job coaching their teams. What does that look like at Pointcare today? I can click into any deal. I can obviously see sentiment. I can see skill scores mapped across reps. I can see revenue output very, very easily, much easier than I can see it in Salesforce, to the degree that I will manage my team out of Proshort and not out of Salesforce reporting. I can easily see the coaching tab, what people need to work on, where I can push people, where I can ask some questions to understand, how are you going to get this information? Hey, did you happen to find out this? No? Well, what is your plan? And that's where I think the heart of coaching comes from. And so I do appreciate that with the product as it is today, Proshort really steps up to empower sales managers so that they're able to kind of quickly see the trends, quickly see the coaching areas and opportunities. And it's one of the few products out there that is not overlooking the role of the sales manager, in addition to the reps and, as I mentioned, everybody else in the org.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, yeah, one of the powers we've built in the platform with some of the coaching agents that we've rolled out is exactly for that. One thing that has happened in the industry is that your best seller becomes a manager, but
Right.
then he hasn't really ever managed anyone before, and this is where I think AI can play a very, 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 very important role, because now you can set up these coaching agents that actually mimic your sort of best practice behavior, right? So you can custom build these agents, and then it'll track whether the guys who are reporting to you are following your guidelines,
Yeah.
and report back to you. So, like, yeah, I mean, without having to kind of go through all the people issue, which you may or may not be good at, now AI is doing that work for you.
Yeah, and I hear two things in that, and one of those things is, obviously empowering the managers and helping them to coach their team. And I think that is a really, really core belief and function in sales enablement. The other one is behavior change. And so you've mentioned that term several times: good behavior, best practices. And that is something in sales enablement we're always striving for, how to replicate that behavior change. It doesn't come easily. So when you have reps who are used to viewing the coaching feedback, coaching themselves through deals, understanding again, where they have opportunity to be better, right? Where their skill set is strong versus weak, and they're taking their career and their sales, journey by the wheel. They're now learning and training not only to how to coach themselves, but when they do step into that management role, I think you're going to see a generation of reps who have learned from AI for themselves, and then now are able to put those practices into place for the teams that they coach as well. Do you know anybody who's used any of the big LLMs lately to personally counsel them through an issue? Right? It's becoming so much more prevalent, and I think if we can keep it in a sales context, we're
Yeah.
creating a lot of familiarity.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the things we found out in our sort of surveys that we have conducted, that the best sales reps are across the board in the industry are leveraging AI, and right now they're leveraging AI, where they carry the context into public interfaces and post questions there, and yeah, it raises security risk, right? Your customer data is going anywhere without any checks and balances, and this is something that we solve out of the box, because instead of you taking the context into the LLM, we're bringing the LLM into your context, right? So we flip that aside,
Yeah.
and so that makes it very easy, because when you are asking the question, you know which deal you're asking it, and or which reps sort of context you're asking in, which region, all of those things, right?
Mhm.
So you're leveraging the power of LLM, but it is in your context,
Right.
right? You know exactly, you want to push the deal forward, you want to impart some coaching, and that context has a huge impact in terms of the output, and like the accuracy of the results you get.
Right.
So that's something that has gone into how we've thought about product design and like how we've built the product.
Right.
Hopefully,
we've had a lot of conversations about this and how to keep results relevant, how to keep historical records relevant as our own business shifts and change, and the what we call our product might change, what parts of it we're emphasizing for sale might change. Proshort follows right along to raise the relevance of those things and keep the important things important on our behalf. And so it I don't know how it knows, but Proshort knows all.
I mean, before we close, I have because you've used ProShort in two different contexts.
Mm-hmm.
Previously at Airslate it was a lot more commercial sale, right? I mean, transactional, lots of
high
throughput,
high volume,
and what do you call short sales cycles there, right? And
very short. Yeah.
and then in point care you have value selling and longer sales cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to kind of ask you, like, has the product scaled as per your expectation from like doing the job in one case as well as doing the job in the other case? I mean, are there things that you found where it worked better in one versus the other?
This is a great question. It's going to make me think a little bit. So with the sales cycle at Airslate, transactional, high volume, I mean, we had hundreds of calls per week that we're processing, and your team, first of all, kept up with everything really brilliantly. But I think the onus goes back onto the rep a little bit more in that transactional business because they're doing so much, right? The feedback from that team was overwhelmingly positive, to the point where I got a call from my previous manager just last week and said, thank you so much for not only championing ProShort, but a year after you've left, we are still buying into and investing in ProShort because we think it's the best tool out there. And he said you owe me dinner, by the way. So I told him I saved him a lot of money too, so he owes me dinner as well. But on the flip side, coming to Pointcare and we're following deals through multiple calls. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 calls in a sales cycle. Sometimes it's 7, 8, 9, 10 calls in a sales cycle. It helps us keep our next steps managed. It helps us keep our contacts managed. So, one deal might have 2 or 3 stakeholders. The next deal might have 15. Mm-hmm. And we're easily able to sync it back to the CRM, sync it back to the deal, keep things mapped, keep things orderly. Right from ProShort, we can set meetings. If we decide that there's a meeting next step, we don't have to program a task list. ProShort will bring that up for us, let us know that that's on our priority list, put it in our dashboard, and then we just click a button to do it without entering any email addresses and all of these things. So does ProShort scale? Absolutely. And also, does it surprise me every single week? Yes. There's just constantly new features and new things to keep up with. And I can tell that you guys are really thinking of this from the perspective of building a revenue organization, scaling, creating that impact, and yes, that is what's happening at Pointcare.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we're going to do that is because we dog food of a product all the time, right? So, I mean, it's all these challenges that we face. And so, I mean, there's nothing that we ship that's not been used internally and vetted internally. But yeah, I mean, we're on an incredible journey here, and I'm so happy that you've supported and backed us across two very different sales organizations, very different sales cycles. So super happy that we were able to be good to you, right, and continue forward, and we'll keep doing that. Thank you so
Excellent.
Much, Katie. Really,
you got it. Well, kudos and hats off to you and the team, because I'm a pretty rigid customer. I think that I usually deliver with a smile, but my expectations are sky high, and your team has come back every step of the way to deliver every single request. Push the limits, push the boundaries, push me, offer me more, right? And so I'm not just backing a company or a product that is kind of halfway there for me, but I brought it to Airslate, I brought it to Pointcare. I think that you'd be surprised of how much I talk about ProShort out in the enablement world and in the sales management world, because it's really been a boost to my own career, to the results we have with our team. So not just a little bit of credit to ProShort, but a huge amount.
Thank you
of
so
credit.
much. Thank you,
Yeah.
Katie. This is music to our ears, and as a builder, when you hear feedback like this, it really, really excites you to go and build more. So,
Ah,
thank you. Thanks, Nimisha, for setting this up. We really, really enjoyed it. Over to you.
Thank you, Gaurav and Katie, for sharing such a valuable information to the whole of our group of listeners. Recently, Pointcare modernized its sales for efficiency with Proshort.ai and achieved its goal of over 1 million subscribers. So, congratulations for that to Pointcare, Katie. It was just all your effort and thanks to ProShot, as you mentioned. I hope, listeners, you have got deep insight into ProShot applications with Katie. Please feel free to contact us to get to know more about us. Feel free to sign up for demo. Our website is www.proshot.ai. And once again, Katie, thanks for spending such wonderful afternoon with us. Gaurav, thanks for the whole interview. And with this, I look forward to seeing you and meeting you in person. And so does ProShot. Thank you.